Arsenal sit top of the table after 16 rounds of action ahead of the weekend's clash away to Everton. But there's been a few things called into question of late with the Gunners as to how well they are dealing with the title pressure and whether they're feeling that pressure right now. It feels that at any point now, any small slip-up could immediately cost them, Stevie. So why is this the case right now?
Do you know, it's really tough to put your finger on the problem that they're having right now.
Because it's there, isn't it? We can feel it. We can feel a bit of tension.
Yeah, and if we can feel it, then you know that they're thinking about it. And I said previously that I think the key to this is the manager. It's how the manager reacts and how the manager is day to day. It's not about turning up the day of the game and getting things right. It's about what happens during the week. And the manager, in my opinion, is the key to it all. He has to have the demeanour of, we just do what we do. We do our week's training, regardless of the opposition. Yes, we have 2 or 3 little things we need to keep an eye on, but this is about us. This is about what we do. You know, you're going around Saka, you tell him you do what you do, and you basically go around and do all the things that you've done the whole season when you were top of the league, and everybody's talking about how great you are, how solid you are, how much you're going to go and score more goals. And that's how you go about it. Every single game just becomes a focus. If the manager starts thinking about what's going on around, then he's the one that loses his focus. And if he loses it, then the dominoes will crumble because the players will start feeling it and they'll see it. And they'll start thinking about what's going on behind them. And when you do that, that's when you slip up.
Because you can say they're still leading the chase. And for their point, he could be saying to them, even though we are feeling a bit of this tension right now, we do still sit top, just.
Look, it's a long season, a long season. Arsenal were not going to stay at this level the whole season. There were going to be moments in which things were not going to be nearly as straightforward, nearly as easy. So if I'm Arsenal and I'm Mikel Arteta, I'm thinking, well, I'm glad that it's happening now and that we're not having this collapse much later in the season where we don't have time to recover. And I say recover when this is a team that is actually leading the league. So it's almost as if, and I know that because of the performances they've had over the last couple of weeks, that we may think, oh, it seems like they're fading. And yet they're still up there. And that would be my message. Hey, we're not playing at our best. We're not achieving our potential, and yet we're better than most in this league. So begin to trust all the things that Stevie just talked about. Begin to trust the things that you do well individually. Begin to trust the things that have made us the teams that we are. And Stevie's absolutely right. You just spread the message and allow that message to then take over the locker room. But my message would also be one of, listen, we're not going to be perfect. Things are going to happen. And what matters is how we react from some of the challenges that are in front of us. And in fact, I would add on to that and say something, everybody out there, they're expecting us to fail. They're looking at each and every one of us, and including me as the manager, and thinking that we don't have it. And I'll say, you have it, and you have it, and you have it, I have it, we have it together. They can say whatever they want, but what matters is what we have in here. And I would keep that in-house, everything about us against everybody. You unite the message, you unite the team, and you get your team playing at a level that you think is going to be enough for you to win this thing. They're still up in the league. They're still leading. I don't think this is an issue for Arsenal, nor a time to panic. Panic if we're reaching April and now you have this some sort of collapse. That's when because you have no time to make up for it.
Bunker mentality.
Yeah?
Bunker mentality. As you're talking there, I'm thinking about it. And that's absolutely what it is. Because the bunker mentality means that you're not listening to a word that's going on outside. It's all about in there. And when it's all in there, what happens outside doesn't affect you. That's exactly what they need.
Something that's been going on outside. There's a lot of talk about Victor Gyökeres, and Mikel Arteta has been defending his striker this week.
He had no pre-season. The first few weeks was difficult because physically he wasn't in his best state, and he's a player that needs that, like any other player in this league, almost to perform at that level. Then he kicked on. I think he had a really good period and got injured, and now he's back to his bed. I saw a lot of positive things in the last 2 games that he's done. We need to continue to tweak and understand him a little bit better in certain situations, and he needs to do the same. But that's about time, and we have full support for him.
We take a look at his numbers, and obviously Arteta did mention the injury that Victor Gyökeres has had to come back from already this season, and you're seeing a before and after with that injury. What's your thoughts on what we're seeing from the player right now and what Arteta had to say, Stevie?
I absolutely agree with Arteta. I'm not so sure about the first bit about he wasn't 100% fit and physical, all that stuff. I think the important thing is that he didn't start on fire as certainly Arsenal and Arteta hoped, but there's no question he did come onto some form and some goals. And so he's already shown that he can do that, Gyökeres, in this league. He's unfortunate he got injured. I'm 100% in that part with Arteta. He couldn't have picked a worse time to get injured, just when he'd got through that barren spell and was beginning to look like Arsenal centre forward. But he's been through it. He knows he can come through the other end, so he needs to do it.
So I think fans of Arsenal need to be very careful about watching a guy like Mikel Merino score goals and then think, well, we don't need Gyökeres then. No, because why don't we just play Merino and then he'll be the one scoring the goals and we will be good. I think Victor Gyökeres gives this team a different dimension in the attack, a different look. And so if he is at his best and he is physically fit and confident in front of goal, I think this team is better because of it. So don't fall into the trap that because Mikel Merino has scored a goal here and there, you kind of go, well, that should be the guy who should be playing striker. If Arsenal are going to be at their best and are going to achieve the things that they want to achieve, I believe that Victor Gyökeres gives them a better opportunity than anybody else playing the center forward position. Mikel Merino can do a job, and he's a guy that has done a great job. But it's not the answer in terms of those games that are really tense, those games that you need something special, something different, something inside the 18-yard box, that you need a goal scorer, the goal scorer that they've been looking for, and that's what Gyökeres is supposed to be. You need him to be at his best because he may just be the difference between you winning the league, you winning Champions League, you winning whatever it is that you want to win because you have an actual striker that can get a final touch on the ball. So don't fall into the trap of just saying we don't need him. You need him and you need him at his best.
Yeah, because meanwhile in the background, Manchester City are just 2 points behind them in the table. There's obviously still room to grow for Pep Guardiola's men. They're not playing at the best and they're still just 2 points behind Arsenal. I suppose the concern here, Stevie, is that they've ridden these storms before. Arsenal haven't.
Yeah, and I mean, let's be honest, if you had a choice right now, who would you rather your manager was? If you're a player, would you rather have Pep or would you rather have Arteta? I don't think anybody's taking Arteta. You absolutely are taking Pep because he's been through it. He knows what it takes. He knows the signs. He sees the signs. He can smell it. You know, when you're coaching a team, you can smell when things are going well and when things are maybe on teetering a little bit. And so he's able to make adjustments that stop that happening. He's able to make little adjustments, little changes, whether it's his tactics or whether it's his personnel, that keeps us a side on there, because that's where they are right now. City are on a level and they're staying on it. Whereas Arsenal are the opposite. We're not 100% sure exactly what we're going to get right now, and we're not 100% sure what Arteta's telling them. Is he doing what Guardiola's doing? Well, clearly not. Otherwise, they wouldn't be going through these little troubles that they are. So, yeah, absolutely. City are the danger for Arsenal, no question.
And we've seen some of the other players stepping up, but fact is, Erling Haaland is having a sensational season so far, Ale.
Well, if the conversation I just had there about Victor Gyökeres is a conversation that you can have about Manchester City and Erling Haaland. And that's why, if you're an Arsenal fan, you want Gyökeres at his best. Because you see what Erling Haaland is doing and you go, well, we do not have that. And frankly, you think about players that are going to get you a goal. Who else in the world comes to mind other than Erling Haaland? You're talking about the very sort of upper tier of strikers here. And we're talking about a handful of players that you go, the moment this big, strapping, young, blonde Viking walks on the field, you know he's going to score. You know he's going to score. And that certainty, it allows you to play the game from a different perspective when you're Manchester City. That confidence that you know this guy is going to score. It frees up, or theoretically, at least it should free up everybody else. And we saw some of that last weekend in the service from Mateus Nunes, who just decided, you know what, I'm just going to swing a ball in. I'm going to swing a ball in and let this guy go and get it. And he did. I don't think, in fact, I know that there aren't many teams, not just in the Premier League, but around the world, that can have that certainty about their striker. Erling Haaland gives you that certainty that Arsenal are searching with Gyökeres.
I think there's one question that we all had early in the season was if Haaland doesn't score, who's going to score? Well, I think this run that City have put together, we've seen who's going to score. You got Foden, who looks back to his best, sneakily. You know, Reinders is scoring, Cherki's scoring last weekend, Doku was scoring a couple of weeks ago as well. So that question has been put to bed. Again, I don't think right now, as we speak, we can say that about too many Arsenal players.
But you can. Well, the question that you can ask about Manchester City is who's playing outside back, and do they have enough in defensive transition moments through the midfield?
That's not true.
And that, it's a part that they can certainly be exposed. And it's not just me saying it. You just watch them play and you go, ay, mama, who's defending out there and who's...
We'll get into Arsenal in a second, but just on Noni, Paul, I'll start with you. I mean, do you think he's kind of made his point? Because he did go through that really kind of tough start where, you know, some Arsenal fans online creating a petition to have the club not sign him. How do you think he's fared so far?
I think he's been absolutely outstanding. I'm a big Chelsea fan. If there was one player I would have sold at the start of the season from Chelsea, it would have been him. I never see him hardly have one good game at Chelsea. He never went past players, very hot and cold. But since he's been at Arsenal, he's been a revelation. He's been absolutely unbelievable. Play different ways. Arsenal play a lot quicker. They get the ball out to the wingers and they can go and have a go. And 1v1, I think he's one of the best about, if I'm being honest. I think he's one of the best wingers. If you give him the ball 1v1, he doesn't mess about. He's not fussed in. I know he does a nice trick there, but he's not fussed in doing tricks. He's very direct, runs at real pace. And when you're a defender, you do not want people running with you at pace. You don't have to do too much. Very rarely he stops the ball. He gets the ball and he goes bang that way. You know, like Salah did, do you know what I mean? Salah just got the ball and went bang. And people can't tackle you when you're doing that. And yeah, I think he's been absolutely outstanding. I got it horribly wrong.
Yeah. I mean, for you, Julian, seeing a player like Noni, do you think this is good that Arsenal have got a player like that? Because usually we're so used to seeing Arsenal play that certain type of way where it's not as direct as sometimes the fans might want.
Yeah, I think Mikel has been a fan for a while. Not too much based on the stats that we saw at Chelsea, because Merce is right. There was maybe not enough from him in the end product. Yeah. But in terms of profile and what I think Mikel believed he could do with Madueke, I think he was a player that he liked from a very long time, even before the move. So it was an expensive signing in a way at £50 million to strengthen your squad, especially in those positions. But if you're a top club, that's what you do. Yeah. You sign players who could start or could be on the bench, could come off the bench to have an impact. But those players are be expensive, naturally.
Yeah, Paul, Arsenal have suffered with injuries in years gone past, particularly to Bukayo Saka. And there was that moment whenever he went down, Arsenal fans held their breath. Do you think now that they've got a player like Noni, you know, describe to us what that's like maybe for the potential left back, thinking, okay, Saka's gone off and now I've got Noni to face?
Oh, there's nothing worse. I mean, nothing worse. You know, when you see someone's number come up, you think, oh, I've got rid of him. Yeah. And then all of a sudden someone else comes on who's very similar and who's fresh. That's what they need. The next part of the season with the Champions League, the league gets harder. You know, the longer this season goes on, when you lose a game, the more effective it becomes. And to swap players that are like for like, it's very rare you can get that. Usually you bring a top quality player off and you're going to really weaken the team. Yeah. But you're not at the moment. The way he's playing, I think it's perfect over that side.
What about Arsenal as a whole? Do you think they've got that squad depth needed to go on and push and win the whole thing?
I think Arsenal's biggest game of the season is on Saturday night at Everton. I think it's a humongous game. I think Man City will beat West Ham. They'll be top of the league. And Arsenal will be walking onto that pitch thinking, we were 7 points clear not long ago. Yeah. You know, we didn't even have a danger. And the last team you want to be chasing you down. I think this is a massive game. Yeah. Massive psychologically. But they have got a good squad. But I see a lot of nerves last weekend. It was scary.
Yeah. Julia, I know you were at the game last weekend. I saw you there. Yeah. But what did you make of it? Did you think it was alarming for Arsenal fans? Or was it quite a good defensive display from Wolves?
I would not say, I don't think it was worrying in the sense that I think this was the worst performance of the season. By far, I think everybody would say that. I think you probably are allowed to have one like that in each season, even if you're a top team. It happened to Liverpool last season, even when they won the league. It happened to City before, where you off it. There's no rhythm, there's no energy. It's a Champions League week, so you've already played. And I know it was only in Bruges, but it's still a Champions League week. You'd played a lot previously, which was not the case of Wolves. It's a 5-4-1 or 5-3-2 that you've played against, but they were very defensive, they were very aggressive, and it's just not your day. But you just grind out a win. And I think that was the most important. Whatever happens, 2 own goals, just not much from the game, you take it. It just can't happen again.
Yeah.
And then if it happens another time, whether it's this weekend, in 2 months, 3 months, 6 months, then you can worry. But a one-off like this, if it's a one-off, I don't think it's too alarming.
Yeah, but Paul, where do you think it went wrong in that game?
Where did I think? I thought they started very. I thought it was one of them. We just got to turn up and we win this football match, and I thought that was the whole stadium. And that's what they got to live with, Arsenal, for the next 22 football matches and the next, I think, 11 at the Emirates. It's going to be like that. You know, the right to have 11 people sat behind the ball, and they need to move the ball quickly. And I think sometimes they've got to be a little bit more. Open the game up where you're inviting the other team to have a go at you, and that wasn't the case. Do you know what I mean? It was just constant. Sometimes you've got to draw them out, go back to the goalkeeper, bring them out, start again. Sometimes Arsenal play like 10 minutes in their half, but it's like an ice hockey power play. It's there.
Sideways.
It's all sideways, you know. And for me, he's got to get the horses for courses. I thought the week before he should have played Gyökeres at Villa Park. Last week, I think he plays Mourinho.
I agree.
You know, where you need that guile. When you've got to break teams down, you need that player who's just going to come off. He's going to flick a ball there, flick a ball.
Yeah.
He might come off, and then someone's going to make a run inside.
Yeah.
You know, and I think it's horses for courses. He's got to work out them things, Arteta. And I think the last couple of weeks he's got it wrong. And you know, they've lost one and drew one.
Well, I mean, he's got the squad though. You know, he's going to still make mistakes like that. But I can't believe it. It feels weird to even say it's been 6 years this weekend that Mikel's been in charge of Arsenal. Paul, do you think it's quite a good blueprint sometimes, maybe for some of the other clubs, that a manager, you know, with the right backing, even if with a shaky start at the beginning, it can go good, like come good in the end?
I think so. Time, or you know, you got to have people got to have time. You know, there's only 2 sure things in management. If you're an Arsene Wenger, probably, well, not even an Arsene Wenger. If you're a Sir Alex Ferguson, you pay your tax, you get the sack.
Yeah.
They're the 2 surest things in management.
Yeah.
You've got to give time. You know, what he's done, I hear people go, if they don't win it this year, Arteta's got to go. He's got the life back in Arsenal. They're not also runs now. 6 years ago, 7 years, they were also runs. You know, they had no chance of ever winning the league. Would they get in the top 4? It was a flick of a coin. They are big players now. He's got rid of everybody, all the trouble, all them, and he's brought life back to the club, and they are a very good team. That if you finish above Arsenal, you will win the Premier League.
Yeah.
Look. I mean, look at them. Now we see Carlo Ancelotti on the screen, but this Arsenal team for his first game there, and the one that he has now in 6 years. And I know they've invested money, of course, and rightly so. But the value of the squads, the way they're playing, even the whole club, as you know too well, from the bottom to the top, it's transformed everything. And okay, the league title is missing. Sure, it would be much better if they'd won more. I get that, but everything he's done for this football club in the last 6 years is impressive.
100%. I think they win the league. There's 22 games to go. Their squad is so big and so strong that they win the league, in my opinion. If there was 6 games to go and I was sitting here and it was 2 points, then I'm going Man City.
do you think sometimes when people are saying, like, you know, I can even catch myself saying it sometimes, it's like when people say, you know, I think they're going to go on and win the league, is that because of the squad depth and what we think they should do, or is that a reasonable thing? Are we kind of ruling out Man City too early?
They're the best team. I think they're the best team and they have the best squad. And their manager is maybe not at the level of Pep Guardiola, but not far. Yeah. So you've got maybe the second best manager in the league, the best squads, arguably. And in terms of starting 11, certainly what we see, the best defense for sure. Okay, maybe not the best attack, but you're not far. So you've got everything there. Plus the experience that you've drawn from the last 2 seasons where you were so close and for whatever reason you just missed out. Yeah. Whether it's your own fault, whether it was injuries, the pressure got to you, I don't know, mistakes that you made. All of that should be enough for them to go and win it.
But Paul, if they don't win tomorrow, would that change your mind?
I'd want to see the players in the next game after that.
Yeah.
Because it will change. It will.
So they've got Everton away, Brighton at home, Aston Villa at home.
Yeah. And then I'd want to see then, because then all of a sudden you draw one of them 2 games and Man City win and then it's 3 points and then all of a sudden it's catch up. But for me, I just don't see, they've got hard games coming up, but if they play to the best of their ability they are the best team. And they've had the injuries they've had. If Man City had them, they'd be nowhere near them, nowhere near the players they've been missing. And I'm talking players where they play every week.
Yeah.
I hear some managers come out after a game and go, I've got 8 players out. And you go through the 8 players and you go, well, one of them plays and the other 7 don't play. These are big players for them, big players.
And the home fixture for the second half of the season is obviously better because they will have
they've had some big games,
Liverpool at home, Villa at home,
Had a hard
Chelsea
start,
at home.
didn't they?
Well, there we go. Well, looking forward to it. Arsenal are...
Leandro Trossard proved to be the perfect antidote to Arsenal's attacking frustrations following Mikel Arteta's candid remarks about Victor Gyökeres. Gyökeres may have struggled to truly impress since his summer arrival at Arsenal, but over the weekend, there was finally a glimpse of what he is capable of. More importantly, Trossard showed exactly why he could be the key to unlocking the Swedish striker's full potential during Arsenal's hard-fought 2-1 victory over Wolves at the Emirates Stadium. The 31-year-old winger injected fresh energy into Mikel Arteta's side on Saturday night and helped breathe new life into the Gunners' attack. Shortly after replacing Gabriel Martinelli in the second half, Arsenal found the breakthrough. While Trossard did not directly contribute to either the opening goal or the dramatic stoppage time winner, his influence on the game was undeniable. Trossard took control of proceedings, dictating the tempo and pulling the strings down the left flank. Time and again, he dismantled Wolves' compact defensive setup, releasing Miles Lewis-Skelly into space, picking out Declan Rice on the edge of the box, and crucially, feeding Gyökeres with intelligent, well-timed passes. Operating as a creative hub, the Belgian showcased his playmaking qualities, delivering sharp, purposeful distribution. His introduction completely shifted the momentum of the match, and for the first time in weeks, Arsenal's $64 million striker briefly looked like a genuine threat. Before Trossard's arrival, Gyökeres endured a frustrating and ineffective outing in attack. In fact, the Belgian was the only player to carve out a clear-cut opportunity for the 27-year-old forward, slipping a simple yet incisive ball in behind the Wolves' backline. Gyökeres controlled the pass, beat his defender, and aimed for the far post. Wolves goalkeeper Sam Johnstone was beaten, but the Swedish striker saw his effort agonizingly drift just wide. If Arteta truly wants to get the best out of Gyökeres, then granting Trossard a more prominent role in the starting 11th could be the solution. Speaking to TNT Sports after the win, the Arsenal manager openly addressed the challenges facing his marquee signing. It's a collaboration between the two, Arteta explained. He was in some really good positions, but the ball didn't arrive quickly enough, accurately enough, or with the precision a number 9 needs to score. But his commitment and intention were there, and we have to keep pushing. Arteta was equally vocal in defending Gyökeres prior to the match, urging patience with the striker's adaptation to English football. There was huge expectation because we were signing a proven goal scorer, probably with the best statistics in Europe, Arteta said. But he's coming into a different league, the most demanding league in the world. What happens if he doesn't score in 5 or 6 games? That was the only question I asked him. How are you going to react if you don't score in 5 or 6 matches? Can you handle that? And what about the next 100 games? That's what people need to see. The sample size is still very small, so leave him alone. Let him do what he does best. Support him, and I'm convinced things will come good. That message from Arteta resonated beyond the Emirates. In the days following the Wolves' victory, the debate around Gyökeres intensified among pundits, supporters, and former players. While some questioned whether Arsenal's record signing is truly suited to the Premier League's pace and physicality, others pointed to the structural issues around him rather than the striker himself. Much of the post-match analysis focused on Arsenal's chance creation and balance in the final third. The Wolves game highlighted a recurring theme this season. Gyökeres often makes the right movements, but the service into dangerous areas has been inconsistent. When Trossard entered the match, that problem briefly disappeared. Arsenal suddenly looked more fluid, more unpredictable, and far better equipped to supply a traditional number 9. Former players speaking on television and radio were quick to note the contrast. With Trossard drifting inside and linking play, Arsenal's attacking shape became more compact, allowing Gyökeres to stay higher up the pitch and occupy central defenders. That, in turn, created space for midfield runners like Rice and Ødegaard to arrive late in the box. It was a glimpse of an attacking formula that Arsenal have rarely sustained this season. The reaction from supporters has been equally divided. While frustration with Gyökeres' goal return remains, there is growing appreciation for his work rate, physical presence, and willingness to press from the front. Many fans now see Trossard as the missing connector, the player who can translate Gyökeres' movement into genuine scoring opportunities. Internally, Arteta faces an important decision. Persisting with a front line that isolates Gyökeres risks damaging the striker's confidence, especially with tougher fixtures on the horizon. At the same time, promoting Trossard to a regular starting role could mean reshuffling wide positions and reducing Martinelli's minutes, a bold call that would not come without consequences. Yet football at the highest level often comes down to chemistry rather than reputation. The Wolves match suggested that Arsenal's most expensive signing may not need drastic changes to his own game, but rather the right supporting cast around him. If Arteta embraces that idea, Gyökeres' slow start could soon be remembered as nothing more than a difficult adjustment period. For now, the pressure remains. Goals will ultimately define Gyökeres' Arsenal career, and patience in North London is never unlimited. But with Trossard offering clarity, creativity, and calm in possession, Arsenal may finally have found the key to unlocking their striker and turning promise into consistent production.